Yo, what's good guys, how we doing? So Viessa's rework dropped a few days ago, and I've got to say the dev's actually done a good job. I've been playing her non-stop, and she's now my second favourite Descendant. All her builds have variety, but the one that stands out the most is Frost Bullet. This mod is by far the strongest and is absolutely insane. If you watched the intro, you would have noticed I'm using the Smithereens shotgun. Executor has a higher damage output than Smithereens, but my preference is Smithereens for the quality of life and being able to skip the ramp up time of the Executor. I'll showcase a run using Executor at the end of this video. But to first understand why I'm using this, let's look at her second ability. So the skill reads as, while this skill is still active, rounds are not consumed and attacks deal additional damage. The additional damage is based on skill damage, therefore we don't even need to fully build a weapon of choice to deal huge damage. But coming back to why we use the Smithereens is because it's a shotgun. When you fire a shotgun, it deals multiple instances of damage depending on the amount of pellets it has. With no mods, the Smithereen has 15 pellets per shot, meaning if we use our second ability, we should deal damage an additional 14 times. You can see I'm dealing about 310,000 per pellet, so if we do 310,000 times 15, we get a total of 4.6 million per shot. And keep in mind, this is without factoring in terms like defense neutralization or even the shell up gun mod. Now for the build, this is what I'm using. Multi-hit chance, fire rate and shell capacity. If you want a more advanced build, use this. And as for the cores, the only thing you'll need is fire rate. If you want even more damage, try using the clairvoyance, as this will help you reach huge damage numbers. Once again, this weapon does not need to be fully built, just a few mods like this and it should be enough. Again, we are not building into any kind of firearm enhancement damage, as this does not increase the additional damage from our second ability. Now for the Descendant mods, you will need an Ancestor mod with at least 250% or higher crit rate. I understand everyone will not be able to get something like this, so if you want more crit rate, replace the integration mod with Frontlines, or change Glacial Syncytium for skill insight. The rest of the build will be focused into dealing as much damage as possible. Skill extension can be changed if you know you're going to complete the fight under 15 seconds. And surprisingly, we'll be using Iron Defense instead of Spear and Shield, as this deals about 4 to 8k increased damage per pellet. The inversion reinforcement doesn't really matter too much, so feel free to choose whatever you like. The reactor will be crit damage and attack versus Colossi. And then for the components, you have a choice of two. You can either use what I have on now, or you can use a full Slayer set. From my experience, they both perform pretty similar, but the 2-piece Shell Crusher seems to be better for longer fights and quality of life. Finally, the arcade tuning will look like this. The mutant cell slots we'll use will be defense neutralization and steady hands. Now the way this build works is extremely simple. You'll start by getting a crit to proc hyperfocus with the Smithereens. If you didn't know, as long as you hit all the pellets with the Smithereens, you'll have a 100% crit rate. Then once you've crit, use your fourth and third ability, switch into your second ability and just hold shoot. If the Colossi is still alive after your second ability ends, either reset by dying or wait for your teammates to finish killing it. And as always, if you guys have any questions, please let me know and I'll do my best to answer them. See ya.